Hello, this is Ever Pierce, and this is part 3 of the pyramid of numbers, MI equals MC squared. So, now we're going to cover another element here. Every little thing that I teach is valuable information. But before we get started, if you're not familiar with me, here is a list of my social accounts and my phone number. If you don't know how to set up your date baseline, then I recommend you go to my paypal.me/everpierce, make a donation of $100, text me that you have done so, and we'll add you to my server, and there's over 13 plus videos that's up there available describing and breaking things down in reference to the date baseline. Okay, in this part three. Now, I was just mentioning about, in reference to date, we have a month and day and year, but there's also another version of our date, is a solar year count, also referenced as military count. And essentially it's 3 digits number that tells us where we're at in our solar year of 365 days. Now, in this part here, going from right to left, 3 would be March, 31 would be the 31st day, and then 115 means 115th day. Well, if you go if you backtrack that, it leads you to December 7th. Okay, well, what would be the reverse of that, the yin-yang of this? If I was to see the solar year count first, 331st day of the solar year, meaning we would group it up 3, then 2, and then 1. Okay, 331st day of the solar year count is actually November the 27th. So our next numbers that follow, well, we got 11, 1, 1, and we got 5. So 11, 5 is a lot different than November the 27th. So when we revert it back to March the 31st, 115th day, fits perfectly like a puzzle. So in terms of like problem solving, there's only so many ways that it can yield particular types of energy. And you'll learn that once you start learning how to do your solar day, the date, and learning how to set up your baseline. Now, that's just the basic understanding of setting up your baseline. Now, the advanced, I am not allowed to teach you that. But I am allowed to teach you the baseline of the date that essentially is going to open up like a book. It's going to feed you a lot of information so you can start. It covers many different areas: establishing relationship with God, establishing a relationship with me, a relationship with yourself, discovery to yourself, and maybe discovery of your previous life. So there are many things that's going to be happening just simply doing a pyramid of the date every single day. And every little thing that you can add to your knowledge, it develops you, evolves you in your evolution. So in this part 3 here, I just wanted to cover that because it's kind of important. Because you got to look at the possible odds. Like if I had 2 numbers, say this is a lottery system, and I put 15 and I put 13. Okay, you only had 2 numbers, and that lottery only draws out 2 numbers. Well, there's only one of 2 ways. There's 2 ways that these 2 numbers can come out. Either it'll come out 15 and then 13, or 13 and then 15. So these are the things that we got to keep in mind, especially with the stuff that I'm teaching you, is a teacher of teacher and leader of leaders, is We're going to put logic to it. We're going to put reasoning to it. We're going to put science to it. So I would be a horrible teacher if I didn't teach it in that way. I'm also going to teach in a way that, like a fisherman, I'm going to teach you how to fish versus just giving you a fish. Because it makes more sense. When I return back to my seventh heaven and I'm not here and you're watching my videos, you're going to say, well, this is what Everett taught me. And then you keep expanding it, and keep increasing your knowledge about it. And then essentially what you're doing is you're learning how to be a fisherman. That's why with Jesus, the symbol using the fish, Einstein with E = MC squared, and with Lincoln, four scores and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation. Okay, now if you look at our pyramid of 15 numbers, you got 7 here, 7 there, 7 there, and then 7 on the bottom. So you have a row of 7. You got 4 rows of 7. 4 scores and 7 years ago. So I put, I leave behind little pieces to the puzzle. And these are usually things, or these are things, that it takes a mindset of mine to be able to put it together and understand it in a logical and scientific manner. So I'm taking things a little further. I'm putting video out there for those that have a million questions about life, about E = MC squared, about Jesus, about Lincoln, about Everett Pierce, about God, or that billion questions you have about yourself, is to why, the purpose of yourself. What have you done in the past? So in terms of self-discovery, is we discover ourselves in such a way, essentially, is mainly for the purpose of ourselves, so we can pick up where we left off in our evolution and keep expanding it. Because some things takes more than one lifetime to develop. And once you develop it, then you have to practice it. Then you put it in your, they call reflective spiritual energy. It means you don't even have to think about it. You just know it. You know it inside out, left or right, like we just illustrated here. So there's what we have done. We've done the month, the day, and then solar year count. And we reversed it, the yin yang. So we tried 331st day of the year. We had the right month, which was November, but this is 5. Well, November 27th is the 331st day of the year. And that's pretty close to Thanksgiving. But either way, it doesn't really fit in. The only way you would fit in, you have a 1-1. You would describe it. You put a descriptor value in it, and you would put, say, 2-1. So I would put 2-1 apostrophe S. But still, even at that, you would have 1-1 and then a 2-5. Well, it still doesn't fit in. Now, if it was a 1-1-6, then it would say it would fit in the plausibility. It's plausible. So this is not plausible. So the other thing is to read it March 31st, 115th day, which basically leads it back to Everett Pierce, December 7th, 1968. So, as your teacher of teachers, is not to confuse me. I am an author, not a scholar. If you don't understand the two, look them up. An author is like an author of a book. Scholar is someone who has studied that book and know it inside out. But there's a lot of things in that book that the author can teach you, whereas a scholar cannot. A scholar cannot teach you things that isn't in that book. So with that, we'll end it right there. This is Everett Pierce, and this will conclude part 3.